Alright guys, so patch notes for May 14 in Korea, May 13 for us at the moment is going to be pretty huge, right? So they're going to be releasing this Archboss event in Guild Raid where you're going to get a chance to kill Queen Belendir using these Turkan's Archboss slaying stones. You can buy them for 500k in the guild shop twice a week, so you can run this. So right off the bat, it might seem a little underwhelming because it does look some pretty some pretty basic tier 2 armor pieces. But if you look at the lower right here, actually, and I'll zoom on it a little bit, you can see that that's actually Delu's Noah's bracelet. Right, that's just a Delu's Noah drop. So that is a tier 2 Archboss drop again, and you see this is pretty small. It has a lot of scrolling down to go still, so there might be a chance that it also could drop more Delu's Noah accessories and or Cordy accessories. So right now I'll post it, as you can see in the screenshot, right? I'll post it here. It does say that Korea is about to go into maintenance, and as soon as it gets off maintenance, I will log in, I will look at the loot table, and if they allow me to see the percentage of drop rates for those items, I will post it here. And if you're subscribed to me on YouTube, you will probably be able to see it in the community posts that I make, or if you are in our discord.gg/dynastygg, you'll also be able to see it when I post it over there when I log into my KR account, because I will be logging onto it. I'll get in here, and it's going to be at the bottom here, and I'll look at the drop rates for that one. Okay, but yeah, back to the post itself. The event, it is an event. I'm not sure if they're gonna have it stay, but in Korea it's going to be May 14th to the May 28th. So that's about a few weeks, like a couple weeks that you're gonna get to do it. So you'll have maybe what, four attempts at it. Maybe if it does well, maybe they extend it or make it into a permanent thing, because again, if other smaller guilds are given access to this, I personally, as a veteran player, I don't mind if they get these accessories, if they get their builds finished sooner. Right, it's not so much of, I think that systemically making it easier for newer players or smaller guilds to have access to these things is healthier for the game overall, especially if there are future updates that will give us even more powerful items. Right, get it from the guild shop. And then the next thing that they have here is war games. They are going to make a improved spectator mode here, which is really good timing for the best in guild tournament that Blue Squadron is going to be having. So that's going to be really nice. The only thing that I don't see here right now is, and something that I was hoping for, is a way to get back into the war game itself, because it is going to suck if a guild loses when they could have won because they lost 6 people, 5 people before the game even started, or in the middle of the fight itself, right? That would absolutely suck for any guild that happens to. So hopefully they add that as well. Regardless, everything else is just more UI, more spectator mode stuff. Not exactly the war game change that I was expecting, but it is what it is. At the very least, we'll have a better cinematic production experience when the tournament does end up starting, right? And this one is just a share pin. You can share pin. You can already do this in game, but now they're just gonna add it to here. Nothing too bad about it. Nothing too important. This one is just a bit of cleaning up on the UI. Gives you that choice, so it's nice. This one is for your boon stones and your rift stones. Instead of pressing M, if you're like me, a lot of the times for some reason I lag a lot, or sometimes my game freezes when I open up my map. So now I can just press G, get into occupation here, and then teleport to most likely a rift stone that we own, and then just kill the boss, right? Party bulletin board. This one's not too big of a deal. It's just for people changing their names. Party bulletin board. Favorites feature is maybe when you're just hunting down Hell's Cures or a Bricant piece that you want, you can just favorite them and just start doing that, right? I also noticed that the image that they're using here is actually the same image that they use for the roadmap for the inner server siege. Gameplay experience for some content has been adjusted. Now this one though is going to be pretty huge, right? So material conversion. You might not be able to understand what all of this means right here, but you will understand what this means right here. And you can see it correctly, it is the Vanguard pieces. They are going to be adding the tier 2 armor pieces such as this into the material conversion. So now when you're doing your token burns in your abyss dungeons, that means that like a lot of the items that will end up usually clogging your inventory that you will use to dissolve in the material conversion to get the resonance stones for your trait resonance, you'll also have a chance to get the big expensive tier 2 pieces that you might need, right? Or even if you're just using something as a trait, it's still pretty good as a new avenue for you to be able to get all of that. Like, and you can see it goes all the way down into even the Praetor sets here, so they're going to be having all of that, including imperial ones. Really huge update. Again, it does depend what the drop rates on these things are going to be, but honestly, if you play the game, and if assuming that these are things that you can lithograph, it will be a good form of income if your RNG is good, or maybe it'll help lower the prices a little bit as well, so it makes it more affordable for the rest of the player base, right? But yeah, if you are doing your dungeons every day, you're probably doing a token burn every day anyway, especially with this event right now with the Mystic Keys. This is going to be pretty huge, right? Just the fact that you have a chance. Again, there will be a thing in game where we can click and we can see the percentages of how much drop rates these things have. Hopefully it is at a reasonable amount. Obviously it's not gonna be too high, but this does help kind of alleviate, and again, systemically making it so the catch-up mechanics in Throne is going to be very good for people that are just starting out or people that are just getting back to the game, right? And again, as a veteran player who is right now in the very end game and really not having a lot of like upgrades anymore, I do not care, and I'm sure a lot of us don't care, if the new players have a way to catch up faster to where we are. That way they can get into the end game PvP, and then, you know, have a lot more fun time without having to spend months and months trying to catch up in terms of progression. And this here is just some errors or tooltip errors in some skills and items. Nothing too crazy. It's just the things that these items have already been doing, except now the terminology or the phrasing is kind of like changed to be more accurate. So nothing really too important here to kind of discuss. And gamepad experience for controller players, there are more convenience features. Again, if that's good for you, hopefully it is. I'm not a controller player myself, so hopefully it's good. And again, Wargame adding sorting feature for list of pads for the controller users. Again, if this helps you, then good. I'm happy for you guys, but again, I can't really quite relate since I am a mouse and keyboard player. And we also have this right here. This is going to be a fishing event. I'm not too big of a fan of fishing myself, but honestly, if you look at this right here, with how much mastery you're going to be given, with how the meta is at the moment, I personally might have to do this myself, even though I'm not the biggest fan. I don't particularly hate it, but if it's something like this, and in my opinion, this makes it very much like very worthwhile in terms of like fishing and doing fishing, right? So I will probably do this as well, and I recommend that everybody does do it as well, because again, it's really big, the amount of like mastery that you're going to gain from this. And again, this one is just the event for the Archboss. That is our May 13, May 14 patch notes. Hopefully this comes as good news for people. Again, everything so far here looks pretty good. Just wish that they would have a way for us to get back into the war game if we DC or we freeze or we crash. If you like seeing these patch note videos, let me know in the comments, and again, if you like them, subscribe for more.